ॐ दक्षिणास्य समारम्भा शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमा अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ता स्मर्या गुरुपरम्परा श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। परिज्ञानाश्रम श्रीगुरुशङ्कर परिज्ञानाश्रम शङ्कर सद्गुरु केशव वामन कृष्ण पाण्डुरङ्ग आनन्द परिज्ञान गुरु सद्यो जात शङ्कर सद्गुरु गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. So we are almost coming to the end of the Narada Bhakti Sutras, and I would like to start today with one or two sutras which we took up in the last session also, just to have a continuity. And now what we are studying or what we are saying is Narada is glorifying a bhakta. And what kind of a bhakta is it? It is basically Narada is glorifying all the bhaktas. Ultimately, it is a Parabhakta who is the most glorious. Even Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita said very clearly that Sarve Yete Udaraha. All these four, the Gauni Bhaktas in the form of the Artha Bhakta, Artharthi Bhakta, Jignasu Bhakta are also great because they are aligned to me. Their sole purpose is alignment to me. And therefore, all of them are great. But the one who is dearest to me is the Jnani Bhakta, he said. Because Mama Atmaiva, he is me. There's no difference between me and him. His Atma is my Atma. There is no difference at all. So, Abhedatvad, he is the closest. The Jnani Bhakta is the closest. That is what actually, who said that? In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna said regarding any of the bhaktas. So, any bhakta anywhere, whether it is a distress bhakta, whether it is a bhakta who is wanting some benefits from grace of Ishvara, or whether he is seriously trying to pursue the knowledge of what Ishvara is, it doesn't matter what it is. Any bhakta at any level of his journey as a bhakta to the ultimate, what is the ultimate? He is going to be the Jnani Bhakta or Parabhakta. Till that stage, all the bhaktas are great. But then those who are absolutely in tune with Ishvara totally, those who have very clearly understood that there is no bheda between them and Ishvara, abhedatvat, because of the abheda, actually, they are the ones who are Ishvara only. Saha Ishvara ahameva asmi iti, these people know very well. Okay, so here in the 70th sutra, which I did last time, we'll just take the next two, 71 and 72, which we did last session also, just as a summarizing or connecting with the newer sutras that we are taking. So it says, Tanmayaha, the 70th sutra, Tanmayaha. And what is the glory of this bhakta? Tanmayaha. These bhaktas are tanmayaha. They are not different from the Lord. That means if you take one bhakta, he's tanmayaha. When you talk about these jnani bhaktas, they are tanmayaha. They are in no way different from Bhagwan. They are Bhagwan. You know, I have always been saying, you and me are also not different from Bhagwan. We are all Ishvaras only. Aham Brahmasmi applies to us also. But ultimately, actually, we don't know that. That is the problem. Unfortunately, we are not aware of it. We are also Ishvaras. Really speaking, there's no question of Jiva at all. The Jivatvam is something which is superimposed by us on ourselves by this avidya. There is absolutely no question of Jivatvam. I'm not a Jiva. All of us, we are not Jivas. We are all Ishvaras or Brahman only. Ishvara or Brahman only. All of us are Ishvara. All of us are Brahman. The problem with us is, because of the avarana shakti of our avidya, we are not aware of it. We are not knowing that we are one with Ishvara. There has never been any bheda. There is total abheda between me and Ishvara. I am not aware of it, because I am clouded by that avaranam or the veiling of my avidya or maya. And I think of myself as a separate, individual, limited jiva. Actually, I'm not that. I'm not at all that. But here, the Jnani Bhakta knows that he is one with Ishvara. A Jnani Bhakta knows the abhedam between him and Ishvara. So that's a total abheda. That is, he knows very well that there is nothing called as Jiva. I'm not a Jiva. I'm Ishvara with an incidental body, mind, sense complex. And this incidental body, mind, sense complex, I, the Ajnani, we the Ajnanis, take as real and take this particular body, mind, sense complex as real. And therefore, I, the Jiva, am real. I am limited. I am different from all other Jivas. And there is an Ishvara separate from me. This is my Ajnanam. But they are Tanmayaha. They are absolutely, Maya means what? They are literally absorbed. They are not different. They are steeped in Ishvara. Not even steeped in. They are totally, absolutely, there is absolutely no bheda at all. Upadhi bheda is there. For Ishvara, total, the universe is the upadhi. For me, this body, mind, sense complex is the upadhi. Upadhi is uncertain. Upadhi is anitya. Nama Rupa Upadhi has no meaning. It is not Satyam. It is only Vyavaharika reality, only meant for taking the transactions from one level to the other, for taking care of my worldly transactions, nothing other than that. Therefore, he says, they are Tanmayaha. They are one with Ishvara. That is their glory. Actually, all of us have that glory. But unfortunately, because we are not, because of our avidya, we don't realize our glory. The glory is there, but we don't realize it. We don't see how glorious we are. It is only our Sanatana Dharma, our scriptures, our Upanishads say that you are God, you are great, you are not different from God. No other no other system of philosophy talks about that. They all the other systems of philosophy put us down as jivas, but it's only our scriptures which tell us that you are that. There's nothing other than you. There's nothing other than Ishvara, and that is you. There's nothing other than Brahman, and that Brahman or Ishvara is none other than you. So that is the glory of a Jnani Bhakta. And it is said, when such a Bhakta is there, what happens? Modante pitaraha nrityanti devataha sanatha cha iyam bhuhu bhuvati. 71st Sutra. This also we discussed last time. So it seems when this Abheda Parabhakta is there, it seems it is a moment to be celebrated by everybody. The whole universe, it seems, celebrates with this Bhakta. The moment this knowledge dawns, the Ajnanam goes, and I understand that I am nothing other than this Ishvara. It seems 7 generations of my ancestors are Pitrus or ancestors, it seems, more than they are happy. Because here in our Kula, a person, a Parabhakta is born. And because of this Parabhakta, in our entire Kula gets justified, or it gets, it is something which Pavani Kurvanti Kulani, we saw that. Pavani Kurvanti. They are the whole generations and generations of ancestors and generations of people yet to come. They are totally purified. And it seems it is said that, in certain Upanishads, it said that Tasya Kule Abrahmavit na bhavati. That is, in such a person's Kula, there is no question of any Abrahmavit. So all of them are in some way Brahmavits, because these are the type of kulas which deserve such a person to be born. So, modante pitaraha nrityanti devataha. Devatas, it seems, dance in happiness. That, yes, there is one bhakta here who is a parabhakta. Then sanatha cha iyam bhuhu bhavati. Bhuhu means what? Bhumi, Medini, Avani. Okay, this entire Bhumi becomes what? Sanatha. Sanatha means the universe feels protected, it seems. Sanatha. The earth feels protected. There is so much of adharma. There is so much of adharma on this earth. Our Mother Earth is tolerating all kinds of adharmas. And therefore it is said that definitely such a person, when a person who is a Jnani Bhakta is, once he gets that knowledge and once there is a Jivan Mukta, such a Jivan Mukta is a celebration even for the Mother Earth. It seems the Mother Earth starts feeling Sanatha. Sanatha means she feels protected. I'm no longer orphaned. I'm no longer in the presence of only adharmic people. At least there are a few bhaktas like this. There are a few dharmikas, bhaktas like this, who will take care of me, who will probably protect the dharma and lessen my weight, lessen my bhara. So it seems all these people are literally modante, nrityanti, means what? The whole universe, including our ancestors in Pitraloka, the very earth which supports us, the devatas who provide us protection. From everywhere there is a celebration. Everybody is actually dancing and singing in praise of this person. Okay, because in spite of this avaranam of Maya, how at least some of them have gone beyond it and then they have realized their oneness with Ishvara in spite of the Upadhi Bheda, in spite of the restriction of the Upadhi, how these people, in spite of all these things, how they have being able to get over this ajnanam and see their oneness with Ishvara. Then in the 72nd sutra we saw, Nasti teshu jati vidya rupa kula dhana kriyadi bhedaha. Nasti teshu. Teshu means what? Among the bhaktas. Among the bhaktas. Nasti. There is no question of what? Jati, Vidya, Rupa, Kula, Dhana, Kriya. So here, Bhagwan Narada says, he takes 6 aspects of one's life in which we can see the difference between ourselves and others. We can differentiate between ourselves and others in 6 aspects of our lives. Jati. Jati here does not mean, the caste here. Jati means a particular group. Okay? Each bhakta may belong to a particular group. A group, whatever it is, whichever group it is, it doesn't matter. The group may be in the form of a geographical group, maybe some different country, a geographical group, or may belong to a particular community group, okay, or may belong to different kinds of groups are there. A jati means a group. A jati does not mean a caste. So there's no question of, any kind of a differentiation of jati. Like even caste-wise, you say, okay, I'm a Brahmana bhakta. So I'm greater than a Vaishya bhakta. Okay, I'm a Brahmana Swami. Therefore, I'm a greater than a, Kshatriya Swami. There's nothing like that. Because once you are a bhakta, once you are a jnani, a parabhakta, there is no difference. There is no jati bheda. Absolutely no jati bheda. They don't consider themselves to be belonging to there is no groupism there. There is no groupism. Yes, but unfortunately we are seeing it these days. We are seeing it these days, a lot of groupism happening, in the religious bodies. But actually speaking, a bhakta is not like that at all. A bhakta does not consider himself to be belonging to any particular group. So, nasti teshu jati vidya, qualifications. A bhakta may be uneducated. A bhakta here means a jnani bhakta, a jnani, may be educated. Another bhakta, another jnani may be uneducated. We have seen this in our own, we have seen the, people or heard the stories. Ramana Maharishi, if you take, he's a Parabhakta, probably he would have studied probably some primary school or something like that. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was a priest. Okay. And like that, Vivekananda, if you take, he was, at least he had studied better, Vidya was there, okay, compared to so many other people. But when it comes to, the bhaktas, among them, there is no Vidya Bheda, no Jati Bheda, no Vidya Bheda. It doesn't matter. Bhakta, a Parabhakta, is somebody who has understood that he is not different from Ishvara. He has understood the Mahavakyam Aham Brahmasmi very, very clearly. There is absolutely no misunderstanding in this at all. Therefore, however educated the person may be, education, qualifications, scholarship, they all belong to what? They belong to the anatma, body, mind, sense complex. Okay, I have studied so much. These are my degrees. They belong to whom? Do they belong to the atma really, the me? No. It is a vyavaharika achievement that this particular body, mind, sense complex has achieved. That's it. Nothing else. Therefore, when I understand that I am not this body, mind, sense complex, I am purely this Atma Chaitanyam, where is the question of my, seeing myself different from another jnani in terms of jati or vidya? No question. So jati, no bheda. Whichever group I belong to, whichever nationality I belong to, whichever geographical part of any place I belong to, whichever language I speak, it does not matter. There is no bheda. A jnani bhakta is a jnani bhakta. Vidya wise, vidya means apara vidya wise. Actually, it does not make any difference. And that Atma Vidya, because of which I have understood myself to be Brahman or Ishvara, it is the same Vidya. It is the same Jnanam in all the Jnani Bhaktas. When it comes to all the other distinctions like, education, all that, that does not matter at all. It has no meaning at all. And that Vidya, Atma Vidya, Brahma Vidya, by which I have understood my Abheda with Ishvara is the same for all the Bhaktas, all the Parabhaktas. So education-wise, scholarship-wise, culture-wise, there is no difference. Kula Bheda, that I belong to a particular Gotra, I belong to a particular Kula, I belong to a particular Varna, I belong to a particular Ashrama, absolutely nothing. There is no Bheda at all there also. No Kula Bheda. Where is the Bheda for Atma? Atma is Sajatiya, Vijatiya, Swagata Bheda Rahita, Ekameva Advitiya Atma, consciousness. That is Atma. And I am that. You are that. Everybody is that. Ishvara is that. So, where is the question of any kind of a Bheda? All the Bhedas belong to the Upadhi. As long as I think that I am the Upadhi, all these Bhedas are real for me. When I understand that I am not this Upadhi, I am the Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharira Vyatirikta Panchakosha Vilakshana Avasthatraya Sakshi Atma. Iti, when I have clearly understood my position, it is the same understanding in all the bhaktas. Same understanding in all the bhaktas. So where is the question of any kind of a division, any kind of a bheda? Then dhana, the highest, the highest resource or the highest dhanam is nothing but Atmajnana, correct? And all of them have got it. Whether the person comes from a poor background or a rich background, whether the person's family has a lot of money, whether he has more money, whether he is working somewhere, earning a big, salary, has no meaning whatsoever. Because that which is the highest dhanam, that which is the sacred most resource, is nothing but this Atma Vidya, which is there in the form of Atma Vidya. Then where is the question of differentiation based on dhanam? Then Kriya. Kriya means what I do. A particular bhakta may not be doing anything. He may be just staying away, in a gufa or in a forest. He may be living there alone. A bhakta may be actively involved in running an ashram, an educational institute, an institution, a Vedanta institution, possible. A jnani may be a mathadipati, running all that has to be done, for the community in the matha. A jnani bhakta may be, doing an ordinary job somewhere. Whatever is his swadharma, he may be doing it there. So, Kriya also is something which does not differentiate a jnani from another jnani. So, nasti teshu bhedaha. There is no bheda from the point of view of group, jati, vidya. Okay, vidya means what? Educational status. One may be an SSLC, one may be maybe a postgraduate qualified, one may be absolutely, we might not have gone to a school also, possible. One jnani may be knowing several languages. Another jnani may not, may know only his mother tongue. Possible. We have like that jnanis, isn't it? We have read, the Jivan Kathas of Charitras, Jivan Charitras of so many such bhaktas. In our own lives we have read. So there's no question of any bheda. No jnani actually differentiates himself from other jnanis. A jnani does not differentiate himself from ajnanis also, mind you. A jnani knows that an ajnani is also Brahman, an ajnani is also Ishvara. Unfortunately, the ajnani does not know it, and I have understood it. That's all. So, a jnani does not have any contempt for an ajnani. A jnani does not try to create any buddhi bheda in ajnanis. But when an ajnani comes to him and asks for this knowledge, the jnani is always ready to give this knowledge depending upon how receptive he is, how prepared his intellect is to receive this. That's it. So he says that among the jnanis, there is absolutely no bheda. The way they behave with the world may be little different. One jnani may be extremely quiet. He may not talk anything at all. Another jnani may be singing praises of the Lord, dancing in the kirtana of the Lord. Another jnani may be teaching. Another jnani may be silently working somewhere, talking only when he is talked to. Another jnani may totally isolate himself or herself from the whole world and just be by himself or herself, reveling in his Atmarati. So, how a particular jnani interacts in the world, is something depending upon that jnani's particular inner tendency. But otherwise, among the jnanis, there is no higher jnani, lower jnani, there is nothing like that. There are no gradations. A jnani bhakta is a jnani bhakta. There are no gradations in this at all. So we saw till here. Now he says, why is this so? Why is this? Why that there are no gradations? Why is it that the jnani bhaktas do not see themselves as different from anybody? A jnani does not see himself as different from ajnanis also, from other jnanis also, because he knows that aham atma sarva bhutatma. Aham Atma, that I, this Atma, is the Sarva Bhutantaratma. It is the same consciousness which is there in an Ajnani, which is there in a Jnani, which is there in an animal, which is there in a plant, which is there in everything that is there. It is nothing but this particular, nothing but this consciousness. Sakshi Chaitanya Atma Eva. There is nothing other than that Atma anywhere else. That is what the Jnani very clearly understands. So why this understanding? So he says here, Yastadiyaha. The reason is Yaha Tadiyaha. Yataha Yastadiyaha. Yataha Tadiyaha. That means because they are Ishvara themselves. They don't find any difference between them and others. And in their presence, the earth feels protected, Sanatha. In their presence, all the ancestors feel protected. They feel that yes, we are also going to be released from this samsara. And the devatas are happy that there is one more jnani here who is none other than Ishvara. And therefore, why is it so? Because yataha tadiyaha. Tadiyaha. Tadiya means they, tadiya means madiya tadiya. They belong to Ishvara, means what? They are Ishvara themselves. And for Ishvara, is there any differentiation? No. Every glory belongs to Ishvara. So anything glorious in any human being, it may be a point of comparison for the individual human beings. But for Ishvara, it is not. Every glory, every qualification, every rupee that I have, all the wealth that I have, all the intelligence that I have, it is Ishvara's. Nothing really belongs to me. Unfortunately, we the Ajnanis feel it belongs to us. All this belongs to me, I feel, which is not so. Nothing belongs to me. All this belongs to Ishvara. So, where is the question of finding any kind of a differentiation? So, here he says that yataha tadiyaha, because Ajnani is none other than Ishvara, none other than the very divine self itself. Therefore, there is no question of any kind of a bheda that a jnani bhakta finds between himself or and any other person. Okay. Now we have come to the, I think, last 8 or 9 verses. I don't want to, it may not be possible for me to finish all the 8 or 9 verses in the next half an hour. So what I'm going to do is, maybe I'll end the session a little earlier and take up only another 2 or 3 verses, so that in the next session we can actually complete the whole thing and take a summary of the whole Narada Bhakti Sutras. So now, for a bhakta who is not yet a jnani bhakta, but who is seriously progressing on the path of bhakti, the one who's seriously progressing as a mumukshu towards jnanam, towards a jnani bhakta, what precautions should they take? What precautions should they take? There's no need of taking precautions for a jnani bhakta, because a jnani bhakta is established in that abheda bhakti. Whereas for people like us, who are having sufficient shraddha in Ishvara, sufficient shraddha in Guru, shraddha in Shastra, we are connecting with Ishvara, trying to deepen our connection or bhakti with Ishvara on the path of moksha. There can be a lot of distractions for us, which were already talked about earlier. But as a caution, Narada Maharshi says that better to avoid certain things. Okay? And especially he takes example of unnecessary arguments, getting involved in arguments, because it can shake our bhakti. Unnecessary, like a Nastika may try to argue that there is nothing called Ishvara. And he may give such logical explanations that you may even get convinced. So there is a possibility that a bhakta, before his bhakti or his connection with Ishvara has become well established, it's possible that he may slip, he may lose that, shraddha that he has. Therefore, a very important, thing that he tells us, all the bhaktas, in the process of our, or on the path of moksha. What does he say? Narada say in the Sutra 74, Vado na avalambyaha. Vadaha, argument. See, vada can be useful if it is a samvada. Okay? If it is a samvada. Vada can be useful if you are going to learn something from the other person and the other person learns something from you. But if vada is only with the intention of, I am going to show my superiority over you with my logical conclusions, or I am going to prove you wrong. If that is the intention of vada, there is no point. So if a vada becomes a mere jalpa or a mere vitandavada, that has no purpose at all. A vada where two bhaktas are sharing something important, trying to deepen each other's connection with Ishvara, like in satsanga, that is okay. So in satsanga, it's okay. You're not trying to show off, about your own bhakti, to the others. That is not there in satsanga. In satsanga, there is an honest sharing. Honest bhajanam, shravanam, kirtanam is going on. But in any kind of a vada, where there is a possibility of unnecessarily getting involved in arguments, he says, Vado na avalambyaha. May a bhakta not get involved in any vada. A jnani bhakta anyway never gets involved in any vada. A jnani bhakta never gets involved with any vada at all. So, that my Vedanta Guru was giving an example. It seems when he was waiting in a airport, somebody tried to come and sell him a Bhagavad Gita book in the airport, because there are some organizations which go to the airports and they try to talk about their, whatever their point of philosophy. They want to sell certain philosophical books, and also one such group was trying to sell the Bhagavad Gita book to my Vedanta Guru, and it seems he quietly, very, very nicely, he said, no, I don't need it, and all the best. Then there'll be many other people who will need it, but no, right now I don't need it, he said. And he started walking further. And this person, who was selling the Gita book, was very upset that my Guru did not buy the book. So he ran after him, and it seems he said, do you think you are Ishvara? So it seems my Guru said, yeah, that's why I'm catching the flight. Yeah, that's why I'm catching the flight. So what it means is no argument here. Absolutely no argument. He said, yeah, that's why I'm catching. Do you think you're Ishvara? That's why I'm catching the flight. So where is the argument now? It's just gone. So such funny answers, a guru may give, or a jnani bhakta may give, or he'll just smile. When arguments are going on, they'll just smile. They say, okay, you do whatever you feel is good. Like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, who smiled, and also he appreciated the way that Nastika was arguing that Ishvara was not there at all. Said, it seems such a wonderful gift Ishvara has given you. This gift of expressing yourself so clearly. I'm really wondering how Ishvara gives this kind of a capacity to people to, talk. What wonderful talk, how wonderfully you have kept your points. Actually, Bhagwan Ramakrishna appreciated it. Though the other person was trying to disprove the presence of Kalima and was trying to tell him, you're a fool for, believing or holding on to that. So, a jnani will never get into an argument. A jnani bhakta will never get into an argument. But it is possible that people like us who are, connecting ourselves to Ishvara, but our connection has to grow deeper and stronger, and we can get very easily influenced by anybody who can talk in such a way that we may start saying, yeah, maybe he's right. Maybe he's right. Okay, so he says, Vadaha na avalambyaha. Don't get into any kind of arguments. Why? There is it's actually basically what Narad Maharishi is saying is it is futile. It is futile to get into any argument with anybody. Why? He gave in 75th Sutra, Bhagwan Narada says, Bahulya avakashatvad aniyatatvacha. Because everything has multiple viewpoints. Correct? There is only one pramana for the presence of Ishvara, that is Vedas, Veda and Vedanta. But then those who are not using that pramana, because Ishvara, Bhakti, my connection with Ishvara, my oneness with Ishvara, my abheda with Ishvara, all these things are very, very abstract things to be understood. They can't be demonstrated. They can't be proved. There can be a lot of viewpoints. There can be a lot of ways in which something is explained. The same Bhagavad Gita by Advaita Acharya is explained in a different way. By a Vishishtadvaita Acharya, the same Bhagavad Gita is explained in a different way. By Advaita Acharya, the Advaita Acharya explains this exactly the way Upanishads are. A yoga Acharya will talk about Bhagavad Gita only from the point of view of yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. So, what is being said here is Bahulya Avakashatvad Aniyatatvacha, because there are diverse opinions. There are diverse logical ways. And this is a subject which is inconclusive when common pramanas are used. Okay? You can prove something if it is scientifically, it is reproducible. Or if it is an object which can be seen, which can be, objectified by the sense organs. But this is a subject which is beyond an understanding, which is beyond the words. It is a mere experience. It is an Aprokshanubhuti. It is, Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha, Taittiriya Upanishad says. This is not something which the mind can objectify. This is not something that the words can clearly explain what it is. This is something which is to be understood by one and the only pramana, which is the Veda pramana or Vedanta pramana. And therefore, for a common person, okay, or a person who has different idea, maybe you say take a person who had a different philosophy or a different religious bent of mind itself. So he or she will have his own way of convincing you that what you are doing is not correct. Okay, so this whole thing is very inconclusive, very, very inconclusive. Also, there are plenty of viewpoints. And initially, in our stages, when we are trying to mature our bhakti, we are trying to deepen our bhakti, our connection with Ishvara, we are also very raw. Okay? And arguments like this can shake us sometimes. If we are strong enough, if we are able to defend, even if not defend, if our faith does not shake, that is okay. If somebody is trying to make it a point to make you wrong, they can do it. Anybody can make anybody feel wrong. But if I am very firm in my moksha purushartha, if my connection with Ishvara is extremely strong, then I don't get shaken. But before that, there is a possibility that I may be shaken by somebody else's viewpoint. And whatever I have strived for so far, I can just give it up. I may feel that, I don't think, I'm really going anywhere. There are people like that. They'll say, oh, you're following that, you are a shishya of that particular guru. He will just take you down the garden path. It happens. There are people like that who talk like that. So we should be extremely careful that we do not get into any kind of a vada, either with our own colleagues or with other bhaktas or with people who have a kind of a allegiance to any other type of philosophy. Once we are absolutely sure and once we are abiding in our Atma Swarupa, then nobody can shake us. Nobody can shake us. That is why it is said that, initially, one has to be with one guru. Frequently changing gurus, going from here to there to there, there to there, without knowing what kind of a philosophy that guru is actually teaching. It can cause confusion in me. The guru is not wrong, but I can get totally confused. I can really get messed up. Therefore, he says here, Bahulya avakashatvad aniyatatvacha. Aniyata means that which cannot be very clearly explained, like in a physical world, with anything to do with physical thing, we can be. There are many people who say, how scientific are the Vedas? How can you prove Vedas scientifically? Why should Vedas be proved scientifically? Science is a different field, correct? Veda is a different field. How can one pramana in one field prove the authenticity of something in another field? It's not possible, no? Can you measure the air pressure with a thermometer? No. Thermometer is the only pramanam, only instrument which can measure the temperature. Correct? But you cannot use that to measure everything else. In our own universe itself, in our physical universe itself, the pramanas are different for different things, for measuring different things. Even in your physics lab or chemistry lab, to measure a magnetic field or to measure an electrical field or whatever it is, the pramana is different, the instrument is different. Similarly, science is a totally different field of the Vyavaharika Prapancha, where things can be reproduced, where things can be made to be seen physically, they can be demonstrated. What about Atmajnanam, Vedas? There's no question of demonstrating anything there, because Veda is a pramana in itself. So if people say it is not scientific, I don't believe it because it is not scientific. I don't believe Vedanta because it's not scientific. How can you apply the principles of science in a field like Atmajnanam, which are two different fields? These kind of arguments are likely to come. Therefore, he says, Bahulya avakashat. Bahulya avakasha means there is a chance for different kinds of arguments, different kinds of logical explanations. And that can literally draw us away from our pursuit. And aniyatatvacha. Unless a person, a guru, knows how to very, very clearly project it, it is very, very difficult for us to understand actually what it is. Therefore, the Sutra 75 says that don't get into unnecessarily vadas or arguments. If somebody is trying to pull you into an argument, just walk away from there. I'm not interested in arguments. I'm happy with what I'm doing. I don't want any arguments. That's all. Arguments can only make us frustrated. Both the sides get frustrated. So, okay, you hold on to your view, no problem. My guru says this, how can it be this one? There are some people who argue like that. Okay, fine, follow your path, follow your guru. Who's telling you? Who's trying to? No, how can Advaita say this? It is not so. How can this? How can means okay, fine. I mean, you are not understanding it. That's all. We don't have to prove anything to anybody. I have faith. I have trust. I have got Shraddha in my Guru, Shastra. I am connected to Ishvara. That is enough for me. I don't have to prove anything to anybody. I don't have to be, I don't have to get any kind of, anybody to tell me, shabash, you are doing it. I don't want any validation. So as a bhakta, let me not try to prove my point to anybody, nor let me not try to get any validation from anybody else. Therefore, keep away from any kind of an argument, because an argument is going to be detrimental to the bhakta only, not to anybody else. There's no point in proving anybody wrong or right here. It is a question of seeing the truth for myself. I'm not going to get anything by proving somebody wrong or proving myself to be right. There's nothing, nothing to be proved. The whole journey is to see the right thing. And Aprokshanubhuti. Understand what I am. See who I am clearly. Nothing more than that. There is no need for an argument in a bhakta's life. So from 76 sutra onwards, I think, we have just another 6 or 7 which we can, easily finish. We'll just say this. One more thing he says. 76 sutra. Bhakti shastrani mananiyani tad udbodha karmani karaniyani. To make us more strongly connected with Ishvara, Bhakti Shastrani Mananiyani. I have to constantly contemplate upon Puranas, the Charitras of Bhaktas, the songs and the literature, Bhakti literature. Like we have so many saints, the Santavanis all over India. They tell us, they make us understand what Ishvara is and what is the meaning of connecting with Ishvara. Also Upanishads, Vedanta also talks about connecting with Ishvara. Vedanta also talks about Upasana. Bhagavad-gita also talks about karma and Upasana to connect myself to Ishvara in the form of Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga. Therefore, Bhakti Shastrani include all this. Shruti, Smriti, Puranas, the Santa literature, all the Bhakti literature of various Santas, that one has to read, listen and contemplate upon. Tad udbodha karmani karaniyani. And the instructions need to be followed. Because when Puranas or Shruti, like Bhagavad Gita itself, Krishna tells what it should be done. How? Manmana bhava, madbhakto bhava, madhyaji bhava, mam namaskuru. Why is he saying that? This is also a Bhakti Shastra. Moksha Shastra is Bhakti Shastra. Bhakti Shastra is Moksha Shastra. There is no difference between Bhakti and Moksha. Therefore, tad udbodha karmani karaniyani. Whatever these granthas are talking about as to be done by a bhakta. Like Bhagwan Krishna talks about the, certain values to be cultivated. Amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa. Talks about that. Our Shastras talk about yama niyamas to be followed, to make our connection with Ishvara stronger. So, tad udbodhaka karmani. Tad udbodhaka karmani. Those karmas which are suggested, instructed in all these Bhakti Shastras have to be followed for the sake of a bhakta progressing and deepening and maturing his bhakti. So we have completed 76 sutras today, and I think we have just another few which we can complete in the final session. And as I have told you, we are taking up Rama Gita as our next text. This is purely a Vedantic text in which Rama is giving this knowledge, Atma Jnanam, to his brother Lakshmana. So we'll do that from after completing Narada Bhakti Sutras. Nandantu sadhaka sarve vinashyantu vidushakaha avastha shambhavi mestu prasannostu gurus sada सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ तत्सत्।